And this is our screencast for Wednesday, March 5th. And I think for a minute about the date, but this is a screencast in which you should probably watch the whole thing. It's going to be very short, and it's not going to be something you follow along to the letter because you're going to have some freedom to put in whatever loops you want. But at the end of the screencast, you're going to know how to create and name and save a Garageband file and work a little bit with tempo and loops and learn how to audition some music and actually string some loops together. So anyhow, without any further ado, I'm going to launch GarageBand, and what we'd like to do is go with a new project, and for now you can leave it on piano. And when you first start, it's going to ask where you want to put it. I'd encourage you to keep it on your desktop in your GarageBand folder. I think that's where mine had defaulted to, but I had a change here just for the sake of change. Anyhow, I'm going to call this chase scene. And this lesson we're going to learn how to do a basic chase scene. All right, try to get that feeling by listening to our music. If you have an idea of how music works, you probably have a better idea about signature and key down here. For now, I'm going to focus on tempo. And out of the box, you get kind of a mid-range tempo, and you got to try to adjust this a little bit depending on what kind of theme you're trying to create with your music. So in a chase scene, it's more up-tempo, kind of fast music type of thing. So this can be changed later, but for now, I'm going to tweak this up a little bit. Nothing extreme, but go up just a hair like so. And your mileage may vary. You don't have to do it exactly the same, but I encourage you, don't leave it at the default. Change it just a little bit so you can get an idea of how that kind of works. Okay, and then we're not going to be using the, piano in our first thing here because we're not going to be creating our own music note for note. So I'm going to just close this out of here. And by default, you get one track of a grand piano. And what I'd recommend doing is going up to that track and doing Command Delete. That's how you delete a track. So it's not just plain delete. If I hit delete, ding, 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 can't delete it. So Command Delete lets you delete a track. And when you create a GarageBand file, first of all, you're going to want to go into what we call the loops browser. Okay, so I'm looking down at the bottom right corner of my screen here, and I'm going to turn this info off so that I have more room for the loops browser. Okay, these are pre-installed loops that can be seamlessly adjusted, lengthened, shortened, and they can be used in place of creating your own music. So I'm not going to do the chase scene thing in the sake of time here. I'm really rushed this morning. So I'll just demonstrate it with any given loop, and then you can decide which ones you want to do. Basically, you can choose whatever you want. You can go with beats, and over here on the left side, you have green and blue. I'll talk more about those tomorrow. But to audition one of these loops, you just click on it. And there's your audition. So I clicked it again. I'm going to turn that down a little bit, and that's kind of my on-off switch. Okay, so that is one of the blue ones. We'll talk again more about real instruments and software instruments tomorrow. For today's lesson, you really don't have to differentiate between the two because you're not going to be editing any of them. Okay, so those are beats. And then, of course, you can go with something like strings. If I had like kind of a scary movie that stands out to me as something I'd want to audition. And, you can search kind of by instrument here, or you can even go by the mood. This column over here, these two columns have to do with mood. So, and you can mix and match. So if I wanted something relaxed, yet maybe a piano, okay, it would filter those out. So these are relaxed piano loops. Very relaxing. In fact, since I'm so relaxed this morning, that's the one I'm going to demo. So when you decide that you want to use one of these loops, all you have to do is drag it from here by the little note and drop it up here, up in your timeline. And these can be moved. They're going to look a little different, the green versus the blue, and there's your track. So to audition it, you hit the space bar. And as we learned yesterday, you might want to turn the metronome off. And then here's how loops work. You can lengthen them by grabbing the upper right corner and simply dragging out. And when you play them together, all right, you won't notice any hitch. It's seamless. Listen. So if you had to listen to it and try to determine where it was, bunched up into two different regions like that, you couldn't tell. So anyhow, there's a delicate piano. All right, now let's go back up and try to find something else, maybe something like a guitar, a relaxed guitar. I think I'll go with this Southern rock guitar. No, actually I'm going to go with one of these, the blue ones here. Okay, that one's fine. So now when I drag this up here, and this doesn't have any rhyme or reason, it's not that like my music's going to sound very good by doing this. We're not going to get too detailed with the tracks over here, but we're just learning how to string music together. So if I take this block and play it, okay, doesn't sound very good, but I'm just trying to give you the idea of how to string your loops together. The loops can be shortened as well. All right, where you point matters. If you point to the upper right-hand corner, that's lengthening. I whiffed. If you point to the bottom right-hand corner, you can shorten a loop. Okay, if you want more loops, you can even copy and paste them by using an old Final Cut technique. When you option drag, that's what I'm doing. I'm option dragging, and I can get an additional loop. So that one was shortened, so if I string them back together, that's what you're going to hear. Okay, so for now, what I'd like you to do, I'm going to reset them up here. We're going to stay with the note right here. That kind of filters out the loops the way you want them. I want you to switch your time down here to, so you can see the time. And in short order, try to experiment and see if you can create 30 seconds of kind of a chase scene. All right, something you might see in an action suspense movie. And so think about for a minute the instruments that you hear when you are looking at that kind of scene. A chase scene has I'll let you decide what types of things you see. If you want to, head out to YouTube and pull up one of the videos of one of your favorite action adventure movies, a chase scene, and listen, and then try to recreate some of those same sounds in GarageBand. But bottom line is have some fun. There is no Edmodo quiz. Instead, afterward, we'll just take a look at what you did maybe and give you some credit for your efforts here. But the point is to get your feet wet with, working with these loops a little bit. Alrighty. Sorry it was so quick and kind of choppy here, but have some fun with it. It's really not that difficult, so you can probably pick this up pretty quickly.